Alright guys, so check this out. You might be wondering, what is a real estate investor so excited about his brand new Kia for? Well, you know what's cool about this Kia? Is it's a 2020 Kia, has like 5,000 or 6,000 miles on it. Essentially, this thing's like brand new. And why? Why did I buy a Kia? Well guys, I didn't buy a Kia. I basically took over the payments on this car with no money out of my pocket. I found this car through a distressed seller, somebody that needed to get rid of this car because they couldn't afford the payments. So the cool thing is, I literally took over the payments on this car. I found a seller who really didn't have equity. They just barely bought this car a couple of years ago. They still owe more money on the car than what it's worth. You gotta make sure you get the rims, guys. You gotta make sure you get the brush in the rims. Like, this is a tip, okay? It's important. It's very important. So we found this seller. Seller ended up running into some medical issues and couldn't afford the payment. I don't need another Kia. That's the thing, is I don't need another car. But why did I buy this car? Well, I bought this car because I didn't have to get a loan. I didn't have to go down and put a down payment down. I didn't have to qualify. I didn't have to use my credit. And the cool thing is, when my friends come in from out of town, like my friend Tim Bratz, pop his face up on the screen. Tim Bratz comes in town, stays at my house. Now my friends have a car that can drive around town, and I didn't have to go and buy one. And it's just a nice little feature that I can give my friends when they come in town. So it was nice to run into an opportunity, but more importantly, I just get people asking me this question. Hey, what else can I buy subject to? Can I buy a car subject to? Well, I bought this car subject to. Multiple cool things about this is that it's a great car. And while my wife will never use it, my kids will never really use this, it's a nice little feature to give my friends when they come in from out of town. We do podcasts together, we hang out. All right, let me rinse this. All right, you want to know a little trick? I don't know if everybody does this, but I do this. And I get in here and I spray my hinges, I get my undercarriage, I get under my car doors. Like, yo, if you're my buddy and you're coming in to hang out and you stay at my house, this is the whip you get to drive if you stay at my house. So like Tim Bratz and my other friends that come in and stay at my house from out of town, this car's yours. You get to drive the Subto car. That's why I bought it. I bought it because it provides a major benefit to my friends. And when my friends and I collaborate, we make money together. In fact, Tim Bratz and I are doing a big, or at least I hope, the deal's not done yet, but I'm working on doing a deal. This is a great topic. I'll tell you in the car. You might ask yourself, why would I buy a Kia? You know, like, even if it was a good opportunity, I have a Prius, I have an F-150, I have a Tesla. Like, we have enough cars. We don't need another car. However, I am a big collaborator, which means I hang out with other influencers and other real estate investors, and we do a lot of deals together. So imagine, in this day and age, technology day and age, people get to know each other through social media, YouTube. Welcome to the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. People get to know each other through social media. And I got to know Tim Bratz, and I grew to respect Tim Bratz through social media. And when Tim Bratz was coming into town to do a podcast on Steve Trang's show, we'll put a link down there below if you want to get to know who Tim Bratz is. Tim Bratz sends me a text message and he goes, hey man, respect everything you're doing. I want to collab. I want to see you when I'm in Phoenix. And I go, bro, stay at my house, drive my car, do all the things. So Tim Bratz and I get to spend some time together. He takes my car around. He doesn't have to spend money. And guess what else? Tim Bratz now drives my car that I bought subject to, further enforcing all of my friends that I'm the creative finance guy. So for me, buying this car has a tremendous benefit for marketing, promoting, and collaborating with other influencers that I want them to know, like, this is what I specialize in, this is what I do. So Tim Bratz and I, over the weekend that he came, Tim says, man, let's do a deal together. I've got an $18 million multifamily deal. I've already got it under contract. I already know exactly what the game plan is. We're gonna, add some value to it, sell it for $25 million. Well, you know what? A car payment that I took over on this car allowed me to have a conversation piece with Tim and spend some more time together with him. And he drove my car, and the whole time he's got his hands on my car and he's driving around town. Who do you think he's thinking about? He's thinking, man, Pace let me use this car. Pace Creative Finance. Pace bought this Subto. In fact, here's what happened. Tim takes the car from my house out to Carlos Reyes's podcast. And Tim says, hey man, how do I return the car back to you? I go, dude, just leave it wherever. And he goes, okay, do you mind if I just leave it at Carlos's office? I go, no problem. So a couple of days later, Tim has already left this car, this Kia, the Subto Kia, at Carlos's office. I go, all right, I got a couple of minutes. Let me Uber out there. I'll go pick up the car and bring it back home. Well, I get out to Carlos's office, another friend of mine, and Carlos goes, oh, you're here to pick up your Subto car. So what does that do? It further enforces to my friends in town and other real estate investors that not only can I buy houses subject to, but I can buy car is subject to. I want to be known as the subject to guy. And so for me, the value of this car is everything I just said. It's the ability to market, it's the ability to collaborate, it's the ability to remind people of the power of creative finance and that I'm the guy that can get all those things done. What somebody else could do by buying this car is, let's say that I'm a young kid, 16, 17, 18, 20, whatever, and I go, man, somebody's willing to let me take over their payments like this Kia owner was. What can I do with that car, right? I can't afford a car payment right now. Okay, well, you couldn't Uber Eats, you couldn't drive Lyft, you couldn't, do one of these other services where you drive around and do delivery. This car is a moneymaker. Even though it has a car payment on it, this car is a moneymaker. It didn't require any cash from me, didn't require any credit. I literally just start making payments to the bank. The bank is Ally Financial, and I take over the payments. Then I get the registration in my name, the insurance is in my name, and when the car is completely paid off, guess who gets the title? I do. Now, if I want to right now, I could sell the car. I could go and even let somebody else drive it if I really wanted to. I don't. But most people don't recognize that when you don't have a car, that shouldn't hold you back. You should be able to go out, go on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, go to places where people are selling cars and simply ask them, hey, will you allow me to just make payments on this if I pay you an elevated dollar amount? And my first foray into creative finance with vehicles was actually on an F-150 of mine. I had a 1998 Ford F-150 quad cab, and it hit like 320,000 miles on it. Got to a point where it was having more issues than I really wanted to deal with, and so I decided I was going to throw it up on Craigslist. So I go to Kelley Blue Book. Kelley Blue Book says, hey man, this truck is worth $5,000. And I'm like, I'm not going to sell this truck for $5,000. I'm going to sell this truck for $10,000. So I belligerently put my truck up on Craigslist for $10,000. 3 months later, nobody called, texted, reached out. Nobody's trying to bang down my door for something I'm trying to sell for double the value. So my wife comes in, she says, hey, aren't you like the creative finance guy? Like, why don't you try and sell your truck on payments? And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so right. So I go back to my Craigslist ad, I change one thing, and the thing I changed was F-150 will take payments. So I didn't just sell that truck for $10,000, I sold that truck for $12,500 because I was willing to accept payments instead of one lump sum of cash. Now, you might ask yourself, why would the buyer of that truck pay 2.5 times what KelleyBlueBook.com said it was worth? Well, it's because the gentleman who bought it from me was a painter. He needed a truck, but he didn't have a large down payment. He didn't have credit, none of that stuff. In fact, he might have been illegal. I don't even know. And I really don't even care. So he buys my truck, gives me $1,000 as a down payment, and I finance the remaining $11,250 to him with interest over the course of a couple of years. He made a $350 payment to me every single month. Now, did he overpay for that truck? Well, it depends on how you use that truck, isn't it? You could technically say I overpaid for anything if you're not going to use it. Even a $1 shirt or a $10 hat. Like if you're not going to wear the hat or the shirt, you overpaid. You didn't use it. But he paid $12,500 so he could take that $350 payment he was paying to me every month and turn that into $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month in income through his painting business by using the truck. So it's the same thing with this car. Yes, I have a car payment. Yes, I get that. Yes, I don't have a car paid off. I get that. I totally get that. But what I get out of it is far more value than what the car payment actually is. So it all depends on how you utilize anything you buy subject to. What I do with cars, what I do with houses, is I take the payment that I'm taking over and I elevate my ability to make money by doing something with it of value, whether it's an Airbnb, a corporate rental, something along those lines. Use the debt to leverage into some other form of income. So this is just video 1, guys. If you guys are interested in video number 2, I will go down and show you how we found the car. I'll go through the conversation with the seller, how we negotiated with the seller on taking over this car subject to. I'll even break down and give you guys the paperwork that my attorney, Sean St. Clair, drafted to tell you exactly how to buy a car like this with no credit, no credentials, and no cash. And you can turn around and do whatever the hell you want with it, okay? I could do this with a fleet of cars, any other part of the country. So if you guys are interested in that, please make a comment down below and we'll make a part 2 if we get enough comments and we see that people actually see the value. We'll make another video all about where we found the car, how we structured it, how I convinced the seller that this was good and a benefit to them. And I'll give you guys the whole behind the scenes, what my car payment is, all that kind of stuff. But you got to make a comment down below. And I hope to see you in part 2 of how we bought a car with subject to. This is my wife calling. See you later.